on this agenda so we could bump him up what you wanted to bring him up to. Because the resolution that was adopted by the council back then only bumped him up to 50,065. So I was wanting the council to just give me the authorization to bump him up your recommended amounts.
If we find it needs to be done, we'll make sure it's in the next meeting. Plan on a long meeting next time, guys.
This Friday's payroll.
Is there any further discussion about adjourning? We have a motion and a second. Do you have any more? I
don't think Bob's done.
I
don't think he's done.
You wanna
I think
get this-
these guys have waited a year and a half, and I don't think they should have to wait any longer.
Well, no, that, I thought we already agreed that that was going to
Okay.
be paid. I
Okay,
don't-
so we're cutting their checks this week, or whenever next payroll?
As far as I'm concerned, we are.
Okay.
If it's been approved in the minutes, I don't have an issue with that. If it hasn't been approved in the minutes, I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
I gave
That's
the-
why I wanted it on the agenda, and it got pulled from the agenda, and it wasn't discussed with me, so.
No, I gave the mayor a copy of the
You
June.
approved the agenda before I left for the conference, so.
No, he didn't.
Yes, you did.
Carmen, had I added to it?
But I had those two items on there, you had approved it before I left for conference. And then it got pulled in my absence and not discussed with me, so.
I think we should explain to the audience what we're talking about. We have two police officers that should have received increases back in July of 2012, and due to ambiguity in the motions and entry problems into the payroll system, they have not received the wages that they should have been receiving, and that's the discussion, I guess. I looked at the June 26, 2012 minutes, and it said we approved raises for these two individuals, and it doesn't give a specific dollar amount, which I'm thinking it refers back to the Law Enforcement Committee's recommendation, which therefore those individuals deserve to receive that amount of money. It's not a new payroll increase to them. It was promised to them, and so I guess that's the question. There's been discussion of whether we needed to approve the raises, and I guess the mayor and I both agree that we think the minutes approve giving them the raises, and it's a matter of cutting them a check for what they have coming from July of 2012.
When doing that, we need to think about the facts that that's going to cause them a tax problem, and it's going to cause us a IPERS problem because we have to go back and amend.
And Barbara's been working on that.
Right, and I think, is that some of our Tyler Technology problem? Was that one of those Tyler Technology snafus? Or is that a different issue?
Somewhere the ball got dropped and never got relayed to the payroll administrator or myself, the intent of the Labor Law Committee's recommendation.
Okay.
So paperwork wasn't provided by the city manager to, all we were given was he's going to be increased to $50,065. That was placed in the resolution. That's what was approved by the council. So that's what was allotted to him. He did go from hourly to salary, although when the payroll administrator was coding his time, she coded it to hourly instead of payroll, but it was a salaried amount. She coded it to hourly versus salary, but he was still getting a salaried amount. He was bumped up from like $47,000 to $50,000 July 1st of 2012.
Yeah.
So as a matter of formality and clarification, I had wanted it to be on the agenda for tonight for the council to vote as an entire group to authorize me to bump up their two salaries to the $57,578 for Meyer, and I think it's $52,578 for Brinkema.
And to pay them the back?
Yes, and to pay him the back.
And we budgeted
Well,
it.
let me ask this, because you bring up a good point on if you just cut them one check, can we cut them, maybe we do it over the course of the rest of the year, if that's acceptable with them?
Well, I was just going to pay him one. We weren't going to go back into those periods, which would cause a lot more paperwork and a lot more nightmare to, because then we'd have to contact the IRS, we'd have to contact
Right, that's what I'm worried about.
We were just going to pay one lump sum. You know, once I received approval, I was just going to pay him the back pay amount. There was a specific dollar amount to back pay.
In a
That
lump-
would update our reports, that would
Okay.
update the IRS, it would all be done through the payroll process.
In a lump sum this year.
Right.
The
Now,
next
we can
paycheck.
do a lump sum by way of several checks to reduce the deduction out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we did it that way, for example, over a half dozen checks, it would probably be better for them as far as the cash flow situation for the rest of the year.
Well, I'm wondering, I'm not trying to delay you from acting, but I'm wondering maybe if that's something we should iron out before you just write a check. I don't know,
Well,
I'll
I mean,
defer
the
it to you
sy-
guys.
I
but-
can't believe the system can't, for any one pay period, run more than one check for the employee. They're all dated the same, but you run them as lower amounts so that in the tax bracket that they're in on their normal paycheck, they're not having more withheld as opposed to getting a
Yeah.
check 3 or 4 times
Right.
bigger.
I don't know, is that, can you do a special payroll?
Yeah, she can just, it'd be a separate, it wouldn't be along with the regular
Right.
payroll,
Yeah.
but it would be a separate payroll.
Yeah.
So we're talking $3,300 for Brinkema and ended up
36.
being about 8,800 for Meyer.
36 and 84 was the two numbers you had.
Well, I think I guess if it would help Barb, it's my opinion that if the committee notes reflected that and that was the intent, and it's just a scrivener's error, we just didn't put it in the minutes, then I think we can accept that as discussion tonight, and that way she's covered.
And I was on the committee. so
And that'd be my
I know
opinion,
all
that
about
we're okay, and then you can rely on my opinion, Barb, for that.
Okay.
And then run those checks in a way that it best benefits our employees, so we don't,
I say, I
hurt
think
their
maybe we should ask them
finances.
how they would want to do that.
yeah,
as
that's
to
what I'd
whether they
recommend.
wanna
We'll leave it up to
Have it in a
them.
lump sum and pay the taxes at that point,
Yeah.
or have it over
Right.
a period of time.
I just
but
want it done
they
by the
need
next
to be done.
payroll.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
A motion and a second.
That's all I have.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Your only chance.
Aye.
I made a note that though, except for the adjournment, we were doing roll call.